So right here, we're getting ready to install, this is the Freonic, this is the air and heat portable AC unit or air conditioning unit. This is the, I'll give you a model number here, and then I'm going to put the instructions up. This is the FHCP101H for heat, KR. This is a 10,000, roughly 10,000 BTU unit. And what I'm doing is today, so I'm going to come down here and see you guys, is that I'm putting it in the garage. This is a two-car garage. It is an insulated but unheated, un-air-conditioned space. In the summertime, we just don't have any AC in here. In order to get this area cooled, we would have to open up the door between the house and the garage and let that air come through. And I didn't want to do that for this test because I've been looking for a way to bring the temp and humidity down. If you take a look at this, this is a digital thermometer that's on in the garage. 74. Hey, 74% humidity. Yeah, it's a little sticky in here. This is our first day outside here in Minnesota that is going to be nasty hot. That means that this will be a more accurate test than to do it in May when it was really cold. We've had a really cold spring. So what the Freonic is, a portable air conditioning unit that has a single duct that goes out. So this will be mounted in the window right here above us, and then it's going to be pulling air in from the room, exhausting it through here, and then it's going to be blowing cold air in. So you've got a lot of air movement with this, as they typically do with portable AC units. But this particular one is pulling air from the room and then exhausting that hot air outside, which means that in some situations it's not the most ideal. If you've got a very tight space, it could be pulling, as an example, if you have a fireplace and it's super tight because you spray foamed everything and the windows are tight, you could actually be pulling air in from the fireplace and getting some soot smell. If you've got an area that's fairly, I don't want to, maybe loose, open, you've got windows that aren't exactly super sealed, this would actually work really well because it's a high output device and it will be able to compensate for any of that negative air pressure you may have in the room. So what it's going to go is that this will mount in the window. And you can see that there is kind of an angle, a flat side and an angle side. Flat side is going to go down in the window. If I would have a more vertical opening, say like a sliding window, this is a double hung, this could be mounted a variety of different ways. And I could turn this around and put this on the bottom. But I wanted it to go like this right here in the window. So that's why it's mounted this way. This could be mounted, could be flipped over. Because what it is it's being held in here by a couple of screws. You put this in, you slide it over, and it's supposed to catch. Well, one of the things is that these little things plastics don't stay in shape. So there's a little bit of flexibility here. So what I did is I put the screw in to hold it, put it in, slid it over, put the screw in, and then I put a second screw in with a washer. This one was included, this one was not, but now it's in there and tight, and it's not going to go anywhere. What I need to do is I need to mount this in the window and then attach the other end, extend it, and attach the other end to the back of this. Now take a look at this. These are not attached when you get it, and literally all you're doing when you have these is that you're just putting it on the end of this flexible tubing, and you're kind of turning it on, and it's working its way in to the collar. That's really all it is. There's nothing super fancy with it, and then once it's on, you can extend and retract or whatever it is you need. So in this case, my window with the custom or the factory is just about perfect. It's a little bit short from what I would like. I'd like it to be a little bit, I'd need about an inch longer, which I could take the extension and cut it, but I think for this application, I'm not going to bother because I've got just a little bit over here. So I'm going to try to do is slide this in and see if I can put one of my little wood blocks in here to kind of take up that space and hold it tight on the side over there. And then everything comes down and we're fairly closed up. But it's not perfect. And I want to get it better than that. Here's where some of that packing foam you get from your different orders, because you need to put something, you want to kind of fill this area in so you don't have air and different things coming through. I have a screen, so I'm not going to have bug issues, but I want to tighten this up a little bit. And then at the top of the window, there's a little bit of an air gap up here. And here's one of those spots where some of this little crappy bubble wrap stuff you've got can actually come in handy, because you need to seal that up, and you could take it, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slice this and put some on and then fill this whole gap. So that way it becomes an air barrier for that. And down here, I'm going to take probably this piece, and I'm going to cut a piece to fit in here and then kind of splice in that side so that this is all kind of sealed up, and the window will be kind of held in position, because I don't want it to be popping up when things are going. So let me go get a knife and a scissors, and I'm going to get this all set up. Well, there, I've got it kind of sealed up, and it'll be good to go with that. So now what I need to do is we're going to attach the hose. Let's just tip this down. And you can see my electric baseboard heater, which we do have heat in here for the winter time. But we're going to extend the hose. And because we're going to have a little bit of play as far as the turning on this, because of us turning that collar on so much, we've got our ability to lock and unlock that. So we're going to extend our hose down. And then we're going to get the electric cord loosened up. And here is the cord end, which we're going to have to go over here in just a few minutes. Now back here, as long as we're here, this is the exhaust. And then here is a constant drain. If you were going to be using this as a dehumidifier, this is where you would hook a line to and drop it into a drain on the floor. You've got your cord holders, and then you've got a secondary drain right here for the reservoir tank here. Being that we're just running it on AC, this is not going to be an issue. These are only really needed for manual drain or constant drain if we're going to be doing the dehumidify. And yes, AC will dehumidify, but it's not needed at the level that the other is. Okay, just looking for where those little grooves are, and it seems that there's one right up here, so I can get this lined up, flush, turn, and lock. And there it is. That's all it takes. Now we've got our nice and straight. Got the unit set so it's kind of square to the room. I will take this over. Now, as far as the plug-in, it has a built-in ground fault interrupter, GFCI here. And this will go into pretty much any outlet in the garage here, which also have GFCIs on them. The problem with this is that this can take some wattage, especially when it ramps up. So if, say, you had a refrigerator in the garage, this would not be a good idea to have this on the same circuit as a refrigerator or a freezer. But by itself, it'll be fine. Okay, so we have our remote control, which takes AAA batteries, and it didn't come with those, so I threw some in. We powered it up. Make sure that the little outlet, the plug-in, the breaker was set, and it was reset. And right now, we are ready to go. You can see it saying it's 74 degrees. I think, yeah, you can see that. Yeah, so we're 74 degrees on this, and the room is going to be at 74 and 74. We're going to start this, and let's see, I don't want to be in fan dehydrated. Okay, there. I don't want to be heat. I'm going on cool. And it's set at 72. I'm going to take this down to 65. I want to see 65. We have the ability to do the swing, which right now it's blowing right in the face. We can do the swing and have that lit up on, again, remote, the swing. And then what happens is that the louvers go up and down. So it could blow up the wall, down the wall, that kind of thing. We've got our different things going. So I think we are good to go, and we'll let this kick in and see what it can do here. And we'll come back and check it in about a half hour and see what it's done in this room. So I just want to bring you out and show you what the outside looks like. We've got, of course, the window down, the vent is in there, and it's blowing quite a bit of air right now. Now, again, that's the warm air discharge, because AC units will create heat as they pull the heat out of the air. It's just how it works. So we've got it in there. One thing, depending upon where you're at, we're in a very rural area, so it's not as big of a deal. But if you're going to do something like this, you'll want to make sure that you put some sort of, like a piece of wood in there or something, so that this window cannot be forced up. And you may even be tacking it with a little bit of a tape or something to hold that piece of wood in there for security purposes.
because otherwise someone could come in and take the screen off in our case and get there and push the window in there into the house.
So we're only 10 minutes in and it's blowing really nice and cold air, and it's already brought the humidity down to 70% in the room. So we're just about a half hour in here and we're at 73. We brought the temp down about a half a degree, but boy, you can feel a difference in the humidity, and it's only showing 8 percentage points lower than it was, but it definitely feels a lot different. I'll come back in about another half hour or so and we'll see where we're at. All right, so we're 1 hour in. We brought it down. It's taken off about a degree and a half. So we come from 74 degrees, well, roughly, really 2 whole degrees. It's down to 64%, but it feels so much nicer. Let's go over and check out the AC unit itself. It's blowing nice and cold, and everything's working very, very well with it. And it's, again, making the room where if I were going to come out here and work, it would be much more comfortable. I wanted to, right now you're hearing it through the microphone on the back. Now I'm going to switch microphones here, so you're going to be hearing it, and it's about 2 feet away from the camera. Let's switch microphones. So now this is an idea of how loud it is. If I were sitting here with someone talking, yes, it is making noise, and it's a little bit, it would be probably a little hard to be having a conversation 2 feet away, but it's not the end of the world. It's not very loud compared to some of the window units, which can kind of make a little bit more noise. So I'm actually really quite happy with the sound level. Really what I'm hearing is a very aggressive fan. That's really the main noise I'm hearing from the AC unit. And of course it's blowing cold enough where I wouldn't want this to be blowing on me, because it's actually kind of chilly standing right here shooting this video, just to give you an idea. So we're 1 hour in, the room feels much, much nicer, and we're going to go a little bit longer here and get one more reading before we wrap up this video. All right, we are 2 hours into our experiment here, and we are, yes, it is 2 hours in. 70, just under 72 degrees there, at 62% humidity. It actually feels chilly in here. So I think it has achieved the desire that I was after, of being able to cool it off in a 2-car garage and allowing us to be able to work in that garage. And the unit is still running and going. You've got your little in the front and on the top there, so you can see your temperatures. And it's still blowing very cold here. This again is a 2-car garage, and it is insulated, but it is not air conditioned. The area is much drier. The cement is actually drier than it was earlier. It was feeling very moist in here, and it's since gotten much better with that. So yeah, this is an absolute great idea. If I were going to be like doing a project out here, I could now work out here very, very comfortably. I could have worked out here after a half an hour comfortably, but now it's to the point where it's actually it's 71 degrees, and outside it is literally 90 degrees. And I want to show you. You can see that there's a wind out there. We've got a strong south wind against the garage doors, and of course garage doors aren't 100% sealed, so it's got a little bit of work to be able to keep it as cool as it is, and it's doing a great job. And if I continue to run it, it would get down to that 65, and we would be really quite cold in here. So again, this is Freonic. We'll put a link in the description below if you're looking for an AC unit and a heat. This is a heat pump, so it has that inversion capability. But if you're looking for something to be able to handle that for you, this would be a great option. And again, that link will be in the description below. This is John Young. Thanks for watching.
For more tips and how-to videos, go to weekendhandyman.com.